What's going down, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Solar Factor Shiley for the R&B Talk Show. I'm your podcast host and journalist. And standing right here, this lady right here don't need no introduction. Let me tell you something. She been in the game for almost 30 years, 23 number one hits, 5 platinum singles, 2-time Grammy considered, 1996 gold selling album. And I'm gonna say this though, if you were somewhere back in the 90s, I know you had to see her music videos. You know, her very first single, "I Don't Want You," was a head rotation, you see it on BET, was it LTV, VH1, the box, was it Friday Night Videos, she been on magazines, she was every single where. So with that being said, give it up for Ny'a.
Oh, that is a oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Rashad. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be here with you. And I love the way you just break it down. You just know, like you do your research, you know everything. You like boom, 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 boom. I absolutely love it.
I appreciate it, yeah, because I'll tell you one thing, in this business, like you gotta know what you're talking about before you even say anything.
Absolutely.
And stuff. Oh man, shoot. Let's talk about the brand new single, "All I Need Is You." How did you get into this concept of want to write this song?
This song has been in the making for about a year and a half. So it was produced by Eternal, PM Dawn, from the original group, PM Dawn. He sent me the track like almost 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved the track. So I had to wrote, how you scratch right, just like the melody, and we were moving in the right direction. And then, life just started happening. I'm here, he's there, I'm there, he's here, and just never really got connected. But I finally wrote to it. I was like, oh, but let me just write to it and put it to the side. So when we're ready, we can just go. I wrote to it. And I wanted this song to be a place where it took you somewhere spiritually, and just made you think about whatever that moment in time was where you found that one thing or that one person that you needed and you was okay. Like you was, whether that was God, whether it was that your soulmate. I really wanted people to, and I think Eternal also wanted people to listen. It wasn't so much going on in the track. They like you just listen to the words, feel the music, and just understand what it was. And so I put it to the side, and then I don't know, like a year later, we were like, okay, we're on the same page now. Like I said, life happens. We're moving, I'm moving, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. And then we just was like, okay, you ready? And I was like, oh yeah, let's go. And we got into the studio. Figure it was, believe it or not, it was probably like in April. And we knocked it out in that day, whatever the hour set, like 6 hours. And then something else happened. Something technical happened. And so that took a little delay. So I always say, like, if something like that happens, and then I mean it's good. Like when things start happening to kind of derail what you're doing, then it's patient. You have to be patient enough to wait for the final results. So that's what happened, and we finally got everything right, and we just released it like in September 16th, and it's been doing well, and people have been receiving the message. I know there's always a message in the music, but they've been receiving this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I first heard the record, and I never forget before he was even out, and I told Eugene, I was like, my brother, this is a hit, dude. This is a hit. I said everything that was sent to me through emails, every single song like the last like six years hasn't been a hit. Don't lie,
Right?
And I told us to give it like 2 days. It's gonna shoot up fast. And look what happened. It did.
Yeah, a blessing. Absolutely. I'm like, it's like I always say, like, you never know how people are gonna receive your music. There's so many genres, right? There's R&B, there's neo soul, there's this. And for me, I just want to create music that most people can listen to. Even if they prefer a certain type of music, they can still be like, yo, you know what? That's pretty good. I like that. So that's where I try to stay in my lane. Like I don't try to go outside the lane. I just try to stay in my lane where people from all genres can still relate to the music that we make.
Yeah. And I want to congratulate you too, though, because I was like, man, here it is, 5 platinum singles and stuff. You know, we try to get number 6 real soon. The way it's looking, so hopefully, you know, saying that's happening. The way it's looking, it's going to happen and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Blessings and
Uh,
blessings. Yeah,
here it is. And I just realized too, 29 years in the game. Well, you about what 30 years?
yeah.
Golly, man. I mean, where you even started? you know, you know,
You know
when
what?
you look back, go
I
ahead.
shy away from like saying like how long I've been doing this, but at this point, I'm like, yeah, this is not the average thing. You know what I mean? It's not an
Yeah,
average thing for somebody to just have that kind of longevity. So I embrace it. I embrace all kinds of it. So yeah, 30 years from when they were selling CDs and records to the digital world to whatever's going to come next. It's been a blessing and it's been a wonderful journey, a wonderful journey. And I think the people that I've surrounded myself with absolutely are true to what we're doing, and that's important. Like they're going to tell me, that's trash, or they're going to tell me, I love that, and I like it like that. I don't want a bunch of yes people around me saying, oh yeah, that's dope, and then daggone well, it's not dope. So the journey has been amazing. It has been.
yeah. Because I remember when I first saw your music video, I Don't Want You, and it premiered on
The big hair.
Video Soul. And I never forget when I first saw it because it was matter of fact, it was the same. Cause your premiere the same day. I think if I ain't mistaken, was when oh God, what was that song? It wasn't about Jordan. I think it was Adina Howard. It was a second single. There was somebody else. It was like maybe 5 videos they premiered the same day on BET. I
Okay.
guess it called like Action Pack Friday or
Yeah.
something like that. I
Yep,
remember
yep.
that
Okay.
how huge that was and everything. So we're gonna start from the very beginning, as far as your childhood. So growing up as a kid, you grew up in Jersey, right? Or you was from a different state?
From Jersey, still in Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. I was born.
Yeah. Yeah. So growing up, what was the thing that you wanted to do, as a child, as far as like what made you aspire to want to be a singer and even an athlete? So let me bring that up too as well.
Well, to be honest with you, growing up, being an athlete was my first love. Like I love playing sports. I was good in all sports. And as I got older, like say middle school, in high school, I started to, kind of expand out into the. I played the viola in the orchestra for the high school. I sung in the chorus. So I acted in plays. So I started to just expand into the music, game. But I never left athletics. Like left athletics just stayed with me, stayed with me, stayed with me. And as you get older, you try to figure out what it is you want to do. And to be honest with you, I always tell people that was not always my aspiration to be, oh, I want to grow up and be a singer. I can't say that. I just, I feel like God has blessed us, each and every one of us, with so many different talents that I engaged in everything. My mother she brought me like a little keyboard back in the day. And I used to play Prince songs on my keyboard. And like I loved music, but I just didn't see myself like in this particular space until I got older. I was always playing ball. I was always doing something athletic. And as I went to college, I would say it was my husband. Like he saw me. I think it was at a talent show. Colleges had talent shows. I know.
Yeah.
And I happened to be living with his god sister at the time, and he was like, "Yo, she got talent." I was like, "Oh, he just, I'd be like he just trying to leave me alone." I ain't really want. I was like, he just trying to holler. That's it. And sure enough, he was very serious, and he was like, "Listen, I think you can, you should try to take this a little bit more seriously." Because like I said, I was just out there, just trying to test the fields and whatever it was. And he was like, "You should really." And so we got in the studio with local producers, and made little demos. And I say little demos. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they were demos. We was in the kitchen, somebody's kitchen, trying to get acoustics right, bouncing off the wall and all that stuff. Had some I'll be nice. We had some manager at the time who was a little shady, and but he was like, "Yo, I think you can do something with this. I'm gonna take this up to like Bad Boy or something." So you run into all these people who are trying to tug on your coattail because they see your possibilities of being successful. So they're trying to drag themselves along. And when you're younger, you don't really see stuff like that. Like you just want your ambitions are okay. I'm just going to go be a singer, and you're not realizing that these people don't have your best interests at heart. But those are growing pains that you have to go through. So we, shot out some demos, and then finally knowing the game. So literally bought books at the time. There were books to just figure out the business of the game, like the points and what you're supposed to get as an artist and contract negotiations, and just reading thoroughly. I always say, how you going to be in the business that you don't know nothing about? That doesn't make any sense. That's how people get ripped off. And so I would literally sit in meetings. My husband created a record company, but I was also like the vice president. So I have to know what's going on. And they were like, why is she sitting in the meeting? She's just the artist. Artists don't do this. And he was like, well, she is the artist, but she's also the vice president. And they would try to offer these weird deals and just terrible publishing deals where they keep all your publishing, but they can give you upfront money that's not really yours. And so finally we was just like, you know what, we're good. We just need a distribution deal. That's it. That's all we need. We'll handle the rest. My husband linked up with a partner that financed the company, and we took it from there. We just stayed independent. And it was easy. It was easy because we were able to say no. Like, you know what I mean? We were able to say, you know what, I ain't doing that. Like I had a publicist, Angelo Ellerby, Double Exposure, one of the best in the game at the time, one of the best. I've learned some things from him. Had us out there, Tours Light Tours, everything. Horace Brown opening up for on BET. So there was a level to it that I shot up really quick, like you said, with the videos and everything. And it got real crazy. It was like, ooh, well, you should be doing this. 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 And hey, wait a minute. You do know I got a family. Just had my son. Oldest was. I was like, yeah, calm down. Everybody, calm down. Take it down. And mind you, I was still coaching, so right. I was still, doing the things that I was supposed to do at home and coaching and still loving music. Everything wasn't secondary. Everything was primary, but that was hard to do. So finally I was like, I'm done, because it's getting too hectic and people are grabbing at you for the wrong reasons. They're not grabbing at you the right way. And so I took a break, just focused on life, tried to, got a contract, to play in the WNBA, for the Detroit Shock. And I was like, ooh, wow, that would mean I would have to be away from home. The whole reason why I didn't want to, really fully go full out like they wanted me to the first time around in the music game. I'm going to do the same thing to play ball. I said, yeah, no, I'm not doing that either. So I just kind of took a breath, if that makes sense, and just lived my life for a while. And then got the itch again, hooked up with Kenny Black, the Music Machine, and that is history, something for everybody came out, a lot of hits on it. We just had fun making music. And then, finally got a chance to hook up with my cousin, Eternal PM Dawn. And we've just been moving the same way ever since. And it's been really nice because, it's not about, I guess, making the money now, because when you're independent, it's not a whole bunch flowing in, but there's other avenues that I've created because of my music. And that's the fun part. Like I'm doing speaking engagements at schools, and it's just a lot of things that are branching off from the music.
Yeah. It shouts to Detroit Sharp because it's crazy too. And I thought to myself, when you mentioned it, I was like, man, you probably a part of like a couple of those championships they was wearing back in like the early 2000s and stuff like that. And working with the NBA legend Bill Lambert, who was a head coach at that time. I can only imagine what that would have looked like, how you would have, took a back seat from doing what you normally do, singing and coaching. That would have probably been like a ship change and stuff like that, and I don't blame you, because I know some people like, oh man, that's crazy. Why would you do that? But in your heart, it's like, I don't have no regrets,
Don't, and that is absolutely. I don't look back and say what if. I'm honestly very good on every aspect of it. But the most important thing to me is my marriage, my family, and God. Like I'm good.
Absolutely, because I hate sometimes you got people that, that try to get your head and be like, oh no, man, you know how much money, man, you know, you're making more money and this and that, you know, so you get more exposure. Hey, you know, we can do this and that. Who is we?
I,
That is you over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm stable. You know what I'm saying? I got a kid. I got a great, you know,
right,
partner and everything. I don't need all that, you know, and
right.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I remember though you posted a clip and you was on T Summit and
Ooh,
stuff. You looked nervous. And I
I,
was like, oh man, I said I feel sorry for her right there.
I thought, let me tell you something. You couldn't tell me like prior to that I was going to be.
Mhm.
I was at backstage. Deborah Cox was over there. Cox was over there, and I was backstage. Like, Gene was like, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good. Sure, this is fun. This easy, man." I was like, I looked at myself once you seen it, again. I was like, "Ooh, oh boy." I guess it does. It happens to everybody. And I found a clip of the actual performance because back then everything was live, and that was great. So I guess it's different when you're performing as opposed when somebody's speaking with you when you're young like that. Um, but yeah, it was a learning experience because what you think you're ready for, sometimes you're just not ready for it. I mean, I was ready for it, but at the same time, I was still nervous.
Yeah. Because I go your imagine, you know, because like it's whether you record in studio, but when say when you in front of a camera, a live audience and stuff. And back then it went on pre-recorded, you know, you had to
Oh,
do it live, right, Johnny on the spot.
and including the performances. Ain't no clip, back clip, nothing. It's you, the mic, and the audience, and you standing on stage singing. That's it. And you,
Yeah, because I used to watch T Sub every Saturday and stuff. And I wish they would have had T Sub now because now for the 90s, they helped out a lot of, especially black kids, you know, that grew up in DC and even all over the world. I was like, man, I wish they would bring it back down, you know, instead of trying to flood people. Oh, you got to have a reality show. You got to look this way. You got to look that way. And that's why crowd rate, besides other stuff, you know, plays a part into it and everything. I was like, wow, you know, it's crazy. That whole nostalgia is just like gone.
yeah, it was really a good platform because they would just all come and just enjoy themselves. The teens don't have a place now. If you think about it, they're like the left out age. If you think about that, like
Mhm.
adorable when they babies, and then they're cute when they're little people, and then the teenage, they be like, oh, she old enough, he old enough, he can stay home, and they just kind of got that left out feel. So Teen Summit was perfect. Bring them on in, let them see some people, let them talk about some things. Why not? Why not do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree on that one, you know. Um, from there, here it is, all right, I don't want you, the remix versions, here it is everywhere, what I'm saying, your music videos stay in rotation on BT. I told you, G, this, and I think I should have told you this last time I interviewed you. That's when I was on Instagram. I remember, I think it was all right or something like that. And it was a part where you had like the binoculars
That was
and
all
then
right.
you was looking at the guy who plays your boyfriend.
That was all
I
right.
never forget Rachel from Planet Groove. And she said something like, speaking of spying on your man, see he's creeping around. Check the video out by Ny'a. I
That's
never forget
it.
that.
That's
And
it.
I swear though, like if they would have had social media at that time, and I think he probably was one of the first singers. Yeah, I think he was the first one to have a binocular to see, if your character boyfriend or husband was creeping around, instead of just having like a bunch of girls with you say, yeah, see, I told you.
Yeah, that's it. What we was doing. That was
Yeah,
a
I'll never forget that.
fun time. That was also with Lathan Hodge, and those are great memories. Like you can't. I wouldn't trade those in for anything. Really good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when BT kept that in rotation, because like they kept what she said and it stayed there. I said, man,
Like
only
me,
we had social media just to see what that looked like, and stuff. But fast forward up, here it is, what inspired you to want to be a coach? And teach a game and motivate, ladies to be the best they can be.
wow. Just from being a player and going, if you're a player, you're always going to go through some type of adversity. There's nobody's playing field going to be perfect, and so from that, whatever the adversities I went through, I can share with players so that they can mitigate some of the things that they do, especially in this day and age. I love the game. Basketball is a thinking game. People don't really believe that. Yes, you have to be an athlete. You have to be able to dribble. You have to be able to function, but it is also a thinking game. And so I wanted to teach the game of basketball, but also the game of life through it. But young ladies, sometimes they get lost when they're athletic. There's a group. It's almost like you're in a group, and you become ostracized from outside of the regular world, right? And so I felt like by being their coach, I can mentor them in a way that they can expand. Like, you don't have to just be this group. You can go out and you can do and meet other people through basketball. Like, basketball was your foundation to go over here and do this interview and tell them, oh yeah, I played for such and such. I was a captain, or go into this, just offers other opportunities basketball besides sports. I feel like today it's even harder because there's so many young ladies that are going through adult challenges. Like, with the world the way it is, they have real adult issues. You got to hear some of the stuff that I hear from some players, and they need someone that's going to be able to listen to them, not judge them, not tell them, oh, you should be doing this. It's just something that comes, to be honest with you, comes naturally to me, because I'm always going to be authentic. I'm never going to lie to them, ever going to lie to them. If you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to be able to tell you how to handle that truth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and I always think it's important, for players and coaches have a great, far as like relationship, outside of basketball, because you get it, because it's sad that not all, most women and most men, they don't get that at home and stuff. You might have a mother that's reckless, might have a father that's all over the place, or nowhere around, and
Yeah.
got all kinds of stuff going on and everything. Has like, do some of your players for past, besides the present, like stay in contact with you?
We family, like literally family. Like, yes, family. Like, so I got a rule though. So if I'm still coaching you, like, I'm not friends with you on Facebook. I ain't none of that. But after I see you on and you graduate and you become adult, we go to your wedding. We're family. Like, I literally have players that I've coached from back in the 2000s that come to my house and chill. We're family. Like, it really is like that.
Oh man, that's awesome. And I think it's pretty cool because, especially when some players get older, temptations are always around. It's good to have people like yourself to really keep that that grounding for them. Say, hey, this was going to happen. If you go in this lane and stuff like that. I'm glad that they got the common sense to do that. And I don't think it's not too many coaches, far as this generation, doing that.
I,
Did versus from back in the day. You say.
right. I think Dawn Staley does a great job of bridging the gap. What a lot of coaches don't understand is that today's a new day. It's a new generation. So you have to meet them where they're at. And that's cool, but you have to do it without compromising your foundation. And there's a way to do it. Like, the old school way is literally the old school way. These kids are different, they built different. And you gotta, if you want them to work for you and do things for you, you have to meet them where they're at.
Absolutely. Uh, Fast forward up a bit. We start feeling the itch of want to sing again.
Ooh, I'm a okay. I don't know. So I was listening to we were listening to the radio one day, and I don't know what was on, but it wasn't good.
Oh wow.
Whatever it was really not good material. And my husband looks at me. He said, "This is your fault. It's all your fault. That's why they playing all this crap." It was like, you should be making more music, but no, you don't want to make no more music. So he kept digging at me. Like, I think it lasted for like a week. He's like, yeah, I heard that new song by such and such. Yeah, well, yeah, it could be you, but I guess you don't want to sing no more. Then I forgot what song it was, and I was like, okay, I can't do it anymore. I want to make, yeah, I want to make music that means something. And so I was like, okay, you got me. I'm good. Let's go. And that was it.
Yeah, because I mean, I swear, like, for the time I knew you, because I knew y'all by the time when Something for Everybody was already out, the album was doing its thing and stuff like that, and also congratulations for that project, the singles, so you became a two-time Grammy consider.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, so round of applause on that one. Gotta give it to you on that one. Something for Everybody, I like the title of it because it basically, is that, the album, each song is something for everybody could relate to, besides jamming to the song and stuff. I mean, besides jamming to each record. What made you come with that title?
I think it was appropriate because it really was a little bit of everything. It had little slow jams. It had, I wasn't rapping, but it had like some hip hop. It had some two step to it. Had a little club. I mean, you got to find the track on there that you like. That was the point. Like, there was no one genre of music on that album.
Yeah, big shouts to Eternal. He's in the house. What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, Cuzzo?
Yeah, so from there, to have, 5 songs go #1, and then the singles all in between and stuff. And I remember I was like, it's one thing when you had your first, you know, uh internet hit. And I want to say this too, for everybody that don't know, and I should have said this from the very beginning of the video. You had a Billboard hits, back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, I got.
You know what I'm saying? I thought to myself, like, she ain't got nothing to prove, what I'm saying? Once you have that hit, it's game over.
Yeah,
But going to the digital world and stuff like that, to have the understanding that you can't promote your stuff, on social media. Instead of just paying people, say, okay, here's $1,000, I need this, I need that, and stuff like that. Was that decision for your husband to be like, you know what, this is the easy route to go compared to what we was going through in the 90s, as far as on the music side of things?
it is easier, but it's much easier because you literally control everything. Like I got a new single coming out, boom. But you got to put the time in, and I thank God for my husband because he is the promoter. Like he is the person that be like, you got to put this on there, you got to put that on. I'm put this on there, I'm gonna put this on there, and so I think that's important. Like there's no way you can't just put music out and just sit there. Like you have to do something with it, and I understand that was the hardest part for me. I figured like if it's good music, they'll come. Like they'll come. It's not so. It doesn't happen that way. You have to promote it, and I feel like you take out the middleman. Like with the back in the 90s, you had to deal with the record company, the distributor, the promoter. It was just a lot going on, and everybody was taking money, right? Everybody was like, I gotta charge you this, I charge you this. At this point, nobody's taking anything because we're the ones doing it.
Yeah, you're right about that, and stuff. And that's the thing too, for any artist, like you got to, stay consistent, promote your music, you guys. I know a guy that he'll put a song out and he'll spend more time sending people stuff on TikTok. I'm like, dude, you got an album out, man. Like you supposed to promote that, man. Like, hello, brother, wake up, man. So,
you have to. They could be the best thing ever. Everybody will know.
Yeah, so like that's pretty much it's all about, and I remember I was telling your husband this. It's one thing you have #1 hit, from like online radio and other digital platforms. Where you go from 1 to 5, you're like, we cooking. Then they go from 5 to 10. Like, wait a minute now, hold it down. Then they go 5 to 15 and stuff, And for your it is 23 #1 hits.
Wow.
And that's what I got to tell people all the time. Everything counts. If you can sit here and sell Billboard all day, sell Spotify, sell Apple Music, because people got to keep in mind they all work together. They might have separate charts, but they all, cousins and parents and everything to each other. So it's like you got Billboard here, you got Spotify here, you got Apple, Amazon, YouTube Music, and so forth. You got digital. They all work together collectively.
You're right about that. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
no one is bigger than the other. Like it's a chart. Like I don't understand that part.
Yeah, because I think it's important, for artists to celebrate and to acknowledge, their music and stuff. It's like if you could sell something that's I get it, that has a great following, Like
Mm.
he's something that's also celebrate your music too. And keep in mind, you put your music over there as well. So you can't
On here,
half-ass
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
I never
absolutely.
understood that
Right. Yeah.
and everything. Back in the wall, people don't see, here it is, you got 5 platinum singles, 1996, go sell an album. You
Mm.
know, when you look, when you looking at let me take it back. When you look at your career and you embrace those moments like, wow, this really happened. Say I accomplished this. Saying
I So as you get older, you really are. I'm at the point now where I'm smelling the roses. Like I'm before you're in it, you're running, you're doing, you're moving, you're going. I gotta go. But I'm at the point now where I'm like, wow, this is where I'm looking back and I'm taking memory snapshots of times where I was on stage at the Coors Light tour or when I was opening up for Horace Brown and he was singing, he was coming in from the outside singing and it's not that or like you said on Teen Summit Live and on a show with Deborah Cox and just things that you can. I'm literally at this point where I'm just taking snapshots like, wow, this is really, really dope. And I wouldn't change anything for the world. Like, and I'm still going. Like, I'm still chugging along. I'm still here. I still got more I feel like I can do, and I'm gonna keep doing it until I can't.
yeah, and I just it's amazing too though. Just recently, we had a passing D'Angelo,
Mm.
you,
Oh,
D'Angelo, Deborah Cox, oh God, Key Lattimore, Eric Benet, and a sprinkle of other soul artists came out almost around the same time, 95, 96, and all y'all went gold. And when I went on this one, I think it was one app, it was like to a billboard, it was like 22 of y'all artists, as far as new artists in the US that went gold and then, halfway platinum everything. When you come from the area like your own parents, what kind of go through your mind? You see somebody that came out around the same time that, they died.
I feel great. Like I was in good company. It's
Yeah.
like it's better than that. I was in good company, and I honestly think, but I promise you, I don't regret. I don't. I have to do what's best for me in my heart and what I want to do. But I think maybe if I kept going and letting them run me around like a rag doll,
Yeah.
would have been at a different quote level back then because I was moving so quick. It was like you said, it was going bam, it was out the door, like just like that. And I was like, oh snap, like whoa, I gotta get somebody to watch the baby. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. You gotta take it. My thing is this, you really do have to take care of home first. Like you just do. You get caught up, like you run around, but your house is your piece, your place, and that's where you got to come home to. But when I look back at I look at the charts, like I look at my Billboard thing, and I'm like, wow, I was Brandy, and it was a couple other people, it was Monica, and I was like, woo, man, yeah, that's a great feeling. Not a lot of artists can say that.
Yeah, you know what? I like what you do. You and your husband, y'all do y'all tour and stuff. Y'all go to schools, and you perform the song "We Are Strong." And I thought to myself, I think it's awesome because any child that goes through bullying and stuff,
Mm,
it motivates them to be like, wow, that's somebody that sees,
yeah,
what I'm going through, and I get a chance to have a voice to speak and stuff like that, because I know that you hear the students all the time, and, they tell about their problems and everything. So I can only imagine what you be hearing, you know, in that.
insane. It is insane what these young people have to bear. Like there were problems back in the day, but we didn't hear about them when we were growing up. Parent, like you keep it out like children just play. You think life is good. Now it's all out in the open, and as adults sometimes we don't understand that they're still mature, they're still growing, they're still figuring out things, and you're piling all this other adult stuff on them, and it consumes them. And I feel like I'm not okay. I can tell you the first thing, I'm not a comfortable speaker, but when I speak to kids, I am authentic enough that they come to me and they understand that I do really care. The last thing we did was about bullying, because that's a big problem. Because of what somebody might not or might have or might not have, or the way they look or whatever that is. I was just telling them, listen, you gotta leave people alone. Like you don't know what people are going through. You don't. We do skits and we have fun with them, but we also allow them to speak. We allow them without like now you can't do that. You can't say that. You have to do this because there's a lot in their mind. Like there's a lot. They're not kids anymore. If that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're chronologically they're kids, but the stuff that they're dealing with is not. It's not meant for kids.
absolutely and stuff, Uh, because I know you got, like the basketball season, with this busy schedule. Once that winds down, like, is there any shows, like far as festivals, are you performing for 2026?
I'm trying. Look, I'm trying. I literally, I literally just, yeah, excuse me, I was screaming today at scrimmage. I literally was just telling Gene like last week, like, you know what? I've been doing the same routine for 30 years.
Yeah,
And that's not easy. So it's singing, coaching, and working and being mom. Like it's been the same routine. I get out work, I go practice, I go in the studio, do it all over again. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm getting old.
man.
I'm still rolling like I'm 20. Like, what we doing right now? But that's exactly, I literally was like, I can't believe I'm still doing this. That's why I want to nap all the time. I want to nap because I'm thinking I'm still 20 doing the same routine. So it's very hard for me to plan ahead because the season gets a little funky. People have been coming to me about things to do, but I can't commit to anything because my commitment is in my contract signing when I sign, to the coach. So after February, I can breathe. In between that, I plan on making more music because that's what I do. Get in the studio. So by the time the season's over, I can have something either by December or February. No, that's that.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Absolutely and stuff. Um, now next year will be 30 year will be 30 years on September the 1st, 19 man, your debut album, 1986, Embrace. Like
the
30-year anniversary, man. That's crazy, I know it probably hasn't hit you. I know when that time do come and stuff. Man, ain't nothing like the '90s. What's the when you think about your debut album? I know we probably talked about this earlier in the video, earlier in the interview and stuff. But it kind of goes to your mind every time you look at the album cover, like, wow, I accomplished something. And I can't believe the man, my debut album, first album with Go.
Yeah, um it was, I don't know how to explain it. I didn't So when I was in it, I didn't do it to be I didn't do it doing it to be like, oh my God, I want to be a really popular person. And I did it because I really did it and do enjoy being in the studio. I do enjoy creating music. And by the time I figured out, like, oh snap, like this is really happening, it was a whirlwind for me. And I was like, wow, this is so like I was almost taken back. I was like, yo, like, yeah, you can go. I said, what you mean? Oh no, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, like it was that it's but the music game makes it so it's bittersweet, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
Because these sharks, especially back then, oh my, Lord, the sharks were there. They were waiting to feed. They were there, and so that joy lasted for about 30 seconds because then you have to protect yourself. Um, so you find out you go gold, but then something right after that happens, and you're like, okay, see, this music game is different, and you have to be on your toes, and it's still different now. Trust me. But I think
yeah,
as artists we have more control over what we can and will not do, or how much we pay, or whatever don't pay, or whatever's going on. We have more control than we think we do. But at the time then, it was all about the record labels and the distribution, and radio.
yeah, absolutely. You're right about that. Because I know a lot of time my mother and a handful of people like, oh, I don't hear from this artist anymore. I said, well, they still do their thing. Just that, they don't have to go through all that crap they did, back in the day, dealing with all these so-called managers, PRs, the label executives and stuff, screw you over and everything. So be independent is the way to be. They may not be on your TV screen 24/7, or you may hear them on the radio, but trust me, they out there and stuff, you know. And that's why for anybody, you got a phone. It's good to type the names up and follow those who are on social media. That's where it's at. It ain't that hard.
It's not just like I got a new single coming out. Take a peek. That's it. You have, but you have to do it though. You're right. You can't not do. You can't just put a song out there and just sit there like this.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff. You know. Yeah. Before wrapping up, is there gonna be like a video visual for All I Need Is You?
Ooh, I don't know. My husband says I need one. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll figure it out. Time wise, and these days you can make a video like that. So that that's really nothing.
Yeah.
But the people I got around me, they were like, listen, you gotta make sure, and I appreciate that. Like I can't be coming out looking crazy. It's so if I do a video, it's gonna be a video. Like it's gonna be right. Like it is. Because they love me and they want me to be in the best light.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I tell you, because like when I look at your videos, it has a great vision of, that's what I think some artists don't realize, you shoot a video, it has to match with your song.
Yeah.
And I see some artists, it's like day and night. I'm like, how do we go from here? I'm hearing the song, then we go from there to the video. Like, what's going on?
Like, okay.
Because all your videos have matched, for your very first video to your current one and stuff, and I was like, I don't think people don't realize that. Now it's one thing, you are involved on the story concepts now. Was you more control of your videos back then?
Not really. So we were, like I said, like you said, we had a machine. So everybody had a role, the publicist, video, like we had people that were already taking care of those things for us. We were really in the game, like, you know what I mean? And that part of it. So there were certain things like the one video, I Don't Want You, my hair, the first time I came out on set, my hair, like what is going on? Why is her hair way up there? And the look wasn't right. So we have ability to change those things. But I wasn't doing the treatment for the videos back then like that. Because we had good people working around us. So it wasn't necessary. You put your input like this, that, another, but I didn't have to worry about that. Like I was like in it, and I was just the artist at that point.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff, Cause hey, what was that one video? And I think I might have mentioned it and stuff.
All
it
right.
probably come to me and stuff like that. And I said, I was like, wow, it's like okay, what like the song your video, We Are Strong, and show people around the world. Everybody was coming together, everybody's having a good time, enjoying life. And here was the pandemic was just ridiculous. And I pray and hope we don't have a pandemic 2.0
I don't know.
and everything and stuff.
Right. But that
just
was,
to even
that
go
was
to that.
because we were literally locked down. Like we couldn't go anywhere. But I definitely wanted to shoot that video because I think we really needed it.
Yeah, because it was so needed, for that time and stuff. And I think, for me personally, it definitely uplift, a handful of people around the world, still feel so dull in the house, can't do much. And that time we had a curfew at 8:00. I feel like a worst punishment ever. I said, man, it had been 8:00 since I was like 12 years old, man.
Nothing to do here. Go in the house.
Yeah. Exactly. But before wrapping up, I just want to give you flowers, for the work and dedication you put in, as a recording artist, also a coach, head coach, and everything you do and stuff, and and I tell you, I just see so many people that try to find a balance and stuff, but seem like you have a great balance of it. Your husband, y'all motivate each other. And that's what people need instead of just trying to dag on each other 24/7. Everything, and
it won't last. It's hard. It's hard. Life is hard. You take the moments when you can, rest when you need to. Have the right people around you because that's especially now. Yeah, you got to have all that good stuff around you. Good stuff.
Absolutely and stuff. And also too, what was it? I want to congratulate your son. man, Brandon, he's like making waves everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, as a coach and stuff. And I told you, Gene, I said, man, y'all DNA, man, y'all created a monster. It's
He's
like
really
he
good.
knows what exactly what he did do. Is like the boys in charge.
Yeah, he loves coaching, and I'm not saying it. I know a lot of people say, yeah, that's because he is really good at what he does. Like he's engaged. How they say locked in. He's really, really good.
Yeah, and like I think it's awesome because like when I hear you talk, and then you teaching the game, and motivate young players coming up, and then I'm seeing him doing it. I'm like, wow, it's like life repeats itself, in its own perspective and everything. And I thought to myself, your grandson say he might do the same thing too. Who knows in the future?
Let's see what we working with.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff. But before I get up off here, just want to say a big shout out to Cyber Jails Radio Network. Appreciate you, Keith R&B, songwriter and composer. V's Vintage. Big shouts to you, the PR of the R&B Talk Show. Big shouts to Eternal and everybody. And do you want to give anybody a shout out?
I don't want to do that because you wind up missing people, and they get all offended. I don't want to offend nobody, so I want. You know what? Who I want to give a shout out to? My husband, Mr. Eugene Napoleon, the AKA Nap. I love him dearly, and he makes my life so much better.
Absolutely, big shout out to it and stuff. But with that being said, make sure you guys get the single "All It Is You" by the only one Ny'a, available on all digital outlets and stuff. And also too, I want to say this too. I'm gonna put it out there. Speak out to existence. I tell your husband, say I would love to put a show together. God's will, say, hey, you performed in the summertime, show in, show out. It's gonna be in the building because ain't nobody got time to be frying like bacon grease outside. That's all got truth and stuff.
Let's go. I'm with it. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely and stuff. But with that being said, you have a blessed night, and we are out of here, y'all.